Hi. What I'd like to do now is respond to some of the questions you had regarding the essay questions that I asked you. First of all, I'd like to begin with the question regarding the difference between moral and ethical standards and other kinds of standards. The answer there is really quite simple. Ethical standards, moral standards, refer to issues which are of serious harm or serious benefit. In other words, issues of serious consequence to human beings and to the world around us. For example, artistic standards are very much just a matter of preference. Some people like dramatic movies, some people like comedy, some people like romance, and you'll find if you look at art critics or movie critics, they have a tremendous range in terms of their likes and dislikes. And these really have no long-lasting effect because today's popular movies or popular videos or popular songs tomorrow may be ridiculed. Whereas ethical issues, moral issues, are issues which strike at the very heart of what it means to be human, at the very heart of what makes human life happy or unhappy, difficult or easy, rewarding or not rewarding. So when people are considering issues of lying, cheating, stealing, murder, killing people, these are issues which are of serious consequence, obviously, and that's why they're called ethical and moral issues. Cooking standards, again, are a matter of preference. There are many kinds of standards. Legal standards. Legal standards, sometimes people confuse and say, oh, that's the same as morality. But no, it's not. Legal standards or laws themselves can be very trivial at times or even immoral. Whereas moral standards, ethical standards, really always deal with what is of harm or benefit to human beings. All right, now the second question I asked you a couple weeks back was the issue of whether or not corporations can be held morally accountable or morally responsible. Your answers on this were, by and large, very, very good. Very thoughtful. I'm, again, very impressed with the thinking of people in this class, and I want to congratulate you on really taking these issues seriously and thinking about them deeply. Many of you responded by saying that corporations should be held accountable, but in fact it's very hard to hold them accountable because corporations are legal fictions. They're simply, in a sense, pieces of paper. They're simply, they're acknowledged to be legally a reality, but in fact when corporations are said to act immorally, it's not some sort of impersonal organization. It's really the individuals within the organization who are doing the acting. And so many of you pointed out the fact that actually it is not corporations who are morally responsible for bad actions or good actions, but it is the individuals within the corporation, the CEO, the president, the managers, the employees. And that's all true. So in one sense, then, we cannot hold corporations morally responsible because they are a legal fiction, and it is instead the individual actors who are carrying out activities which are good or bad. Having said that, however, we also have to think about the fact that corporations are controlled or owned by shareholders. And if we do not hold corporations morally accountable, then there's no reason for the shareholders to be bothered by what corporate members do. For example, you can imagine a scenario in which shareholders are very, very happy when the president or CEO or board of directors or whatever carry out all kinds of atrociously immoral behavior as long as it makes large sums of money for the corporation. For example, pollution. Corporations can save millions and millions of dollars by polluting and not cleaning up after their waste, after the things that they've damaged or the pollution they've generated. If they don't clean it up, they can save millions of dollars, which is to the benefit of shareholders. Then, if people are caught and punished, the shareholders can just go out and appoint new people to their positions who do the same things, because the shareholders will never be hurt by the activities as long as it's the individuals who are punished. For that reason, corporations must be held accountable, both legally and morally. They must be held accountable for the behavior of the people within the corporation. So in one sense, when you hear people lamenting about the greediness of corporations, corporations are not greedy. Corporations simply are there as an organization to make money by providing goods and services to individuals. And if they provide good services and useful goods, well-made things at a reasonable price, people will buy their, the things they sell, and people will take advantage of the services offered. And if corporations do not do what people want, then obviously they go out of business. So the corporations are simply there to make money by serving the public. However, when we talk about corporate greed, what we're really talking about is the greed of individual people within the corporation who go way out of bounds to gain benefit for themselves at the cost of other people and at the cost of the corporation itself as a legal entity. Enron is a very good example of this. Enron started off as a really wonderful corporation who was providing, useful energy deals, making energy available to people at a reasonable cost, and they became very large very quickly and became brokers in the energy industry. But after a time, the people within realized that there were all kinds of ways, all kinds of loopholes they could use to pad their own pockets and give themselves tremendous bonuses to their already large salaries by cobbling together deals which were of questionable value. So what happened was Enron got bigger and bigger, and people made scandalous amounts of money. The people at the top made scandalous amounts of money by making deals which were really totally bogus. And eventually they ran out of money. They had so many bad things going on. They really didn't have the money to back up the things they were doing, and suddenly the plug got pulled and the whole thing tanked. Many people got hurt. It wasn't Enron, it wasn't the corporation, which was a corporation devoted to making energy available to people. It was the greed of the individuals within. So we have this difficult situation when we're talking about corporations. Corporations themselves do not act in a greedy fashion or an immoral fashion. It's the individuals within the corporation which act in this way. However, in order to make sure that corporations behave as a group, as the group of people known as the corporation actually behave, then it is important to in some way hold the corporate entity morally responsible. And if they misbehave, if the individuals within misbehave, the corporation itself must be punished, because that's the only way to make this felt by the shareholders, who are the actual owners of the corporation, and also to serve as an example to other people within other corporations who may want to follow suit. It's important to see that the individuals will be held accountable and the corporate entity will be held accountable. So we have to do both, even though from a certain perspective, a certain logical perspective, the corporation doesn't act unless the individuals within it act. So those of you who said that corporations cannot be held accountable are in many ways correct, and those of you who said that corporations should be held accountable are also correct. And this is one of the issues you see in ethics, that there are oftentimes two or three sides to a story, two or three sides to an issue, to a question, and sometimes there's more than one right answer. I hope that doesn't confuse too many people out there. All right, so that's the end of today's lesson, and I'll be talking to you again very soon. Thank you very much.